I don't even know how to make a video like this or what to even say. My last video that I filmed, I had mentioned that my mom was in the hospital. She had just gone to the hospital, I think, when I filmed that video. I did not think that this would be the next video that I would film. I didn't even know if I was going to make a video about this, but it also just felt weird since I haven't filmed in a month, and it would just be weird if I acted like nothing happened. Last video I filmed, I mentioned that my mom was in the hospital, and about a week later, my mom took her last breath and she passed away. I feel like filming this video is making it way more real than it's felt the last month almost. My mom passed away on August 27th. It still doesn't feel real. And I just honestly, I just can't believe it. My mom, you guys know my mom was sick, and mom had pulmonary arterial hypertension, and when she was diagnosed I was 12, and they only had given her 5 years to live, and thankfully she did outbeat the 5 years. She lived 13 years, and I'm really grateful that she did, and she was able to see me grow up and see me graduate. That was like one of the things that I didn't think my mom would ever see, was me graduating high school. So yeah, my mom fought for 13 years, and I don't really ever talk about what my mom had, like her illness and stuff, because it is a very complicated illness. It is one thing that leads to a bunch of other things, and it is an incurable disease. At the time when she got diagnosed, I think it was like 1 in every million people got it. It is a more rare disease. I think it has gone up now. I think more people have it now, but it still is a really rare disease. And yeah, my mom suffered for a very long time. This last month I've just been thinking a lot about just the last 13 years and everything that she went through, and you know, knowing now that she's not in pain and suffering anymore is really the only thing getting me through it, because my mom did suffer for a really long time. You know, it's so crazy to me. Like I said, I don't even know what I'm going to say in this video. I don't even know what to say, or I haven't really like talked out loud about it really to anyone, besides like my dad and Ryan, and like my couple friends. It's just so crazy to me that, you know, when you have a parent that's sick, it's something I wouldn't wish on anyone. It takes such a toll on you, and especially since my mom was diagnosed when I was still really young. I was 12 and I'm 25 now. You know, that's a long time to, you know, be with your parent who's sick, and it's a lot. And I've seen my mom sick really bad. Like my mom, especially last year, I've talked about this before, but last year in July, my mom was, I think, the sickest that I've ever seen her. And that time when she went to the hospital, I thought she was gonna die. And I held her in my arms, and I really thought that she was gonna die in my arms that night when she went to the hospital. And you know, she was in the hospital, I think, that time for about 2 weeks, and she got better and she came home. And when your parent goes to the hospital so much, mom was in the hospital all the time, so it kind of almost becomes like routine. And you know, she always would come home. And this time when she went to the hospital, she wasn't, like, she was sick, but I've seen her sicker or more sick. And this time it really just felt like it was gonna just be, you know, another hospital visit that she would always have. She would be there for like about a week and she would get better and she would come home. But she never came home this time. So crazy to me, because just the day before she went to the hospital, during the pandemic, we've been going on like drives just to get out of the house, just to drive around and, you know, get our mind off of everything. And just the day before she went to the hospital, we went for a drive and we were sitting in the car and listening to music and watching movies when we got home. And when she went to the hospital, I didn't think that things were gonna get this bad. But just a couple days after she got there, they had told us that her kidneys weren't doing really well and that she was gonna need a transplant, and to start asking family members. And I'm the only blood relative my mom has here in California, so, and I'm an only child, and I know you can get a kidney transplant from anyone who could be a match and stuff, I think, but I was willing, obviously, to do that. And they told us that just to hold off for a little bit, they're gonna try dialysis, and my mom was on dialysis the entire time she was at the hospital this time. But unfortunately the dialysis wasn't working, and it was actually working against her condition. It was like she was fighting a lose battle. Yeah, the dialysis was causing a lot of problems with her heart. And by the way, her illness is basically her heart and her lungs don't work well together, and it's like a lung and heart condition. So the dialysis was making things worse for her heart that was already really bad. I don't even know if I'm making sense, but basically she was on dialysis and it just wasn't working. And she was at the hospital for about 2 weeks at that point, and they were going to transfer her to another hospital where they could do like a continuous dialysis. And that couple days before she passed away, they called us and told us that, you know, my mom was really sick and she was really far into her condition already. I think she was stage 4. And when they told me that, I couldn't believe it, because my mom honestly had been a lot better the last couple months, at least from what I thought. I thought my mom was doing a lot better, besides like a couple things here and there. But for the most part, I thought she was doing better. And the next day after that, my mom, by the way, this is all during like COVID and everything, so we couldn't even see my mom a lot of the time. My mom was alone a lot of the time, basically the whole time she was in the hospital, and we couldn't see her besides for a couple times. And if you guys know from past times, you guys know I always stay at the hospital with my mom. I spend the night every single night, every time when she's at the hospital. And I couldn't do that, and I couldn't be there with her every day. And they called us that Sunday, and they told my mom that she wasn't going to come home because she wasn't going to survive this. And I think that day, honestly, it hurt. I don't want to say it hurt more than when she passed away, but I think it was just the realization of like, my mom's going to die. I just can't explain that feeling, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. I literally couldn't get out of bed, and I just couldn't even walk. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't eat. So that day, honestly, that day felt awful. Like a pain that I can't even begin to describe. It's just an awful, awful feeling. Like I said, I would never wish that on anyone. I would never wish anyone losing a parent. Obviously, you know, that's not possible, but just the feeling of losing a parent, it's just an indescribable feeling. And even though my mom has been sick for a really long time and I've came to that realization that, like, you know, my mom's not going to be here forever, just hearing it like that just brought me back to when I was 12. And when they told my mom that she was only going to live for 5 more years, if that. And I was just like distraught. Thankfully, my mom had the most amazing nurses while she was at the hospital this time, because we couldn't see her for, I think we only had seen her once before we were told this. And I had been trying to FaceTime my mom as much as possible, but sometimes she just wasn't really all there because of medication, and she just wouldn't answer her phone, or the Wi-Fi at Kaiser just sucks. And but her nurse let us stay there to be with her. And I'm so unbelievably grateful for the nurses that were there, for letting us be with her and spending time with her that, you know, we obviously wanted and needed. And after that, my mom, I don't know if it was just me thinking this and being hopeful, but my mom seemed like she was getting better. Her spirits were up, and, you know, I don't even know. I don't know. I just feel like, you know, she seemed like she was feeling a little bit better and things were going a little bit better. Her numbers were getting better. And by Wednesday, she had seemed a lot better, and we had gone to see her again. And that day, her spirits were up, her color was a lot better, and she was so much more talkative and just herself, like her normal self, how she always had been. And that day I had came and I brought her some like eye patches, and I put them on just to make her feel a little bit better. And, you know, we sat in the hospital room and we were watching YouTube videos like we always do. And we were laughing and making jokes about everything, and I didn't know, you know, that was the day that she was going to get transferred to another hospital to do the continuous dialysis. And we were there until they were able to transfer her. And, well, they were getting like the ambulance ready and stuff, and we left when the ambulance, or like the paramedics and stuff, got there. And I didn't think that would be the last time I saw my mom. That night, she called us, and she was on the phone with me, and she told me that they were going to do like a surgery for her and to do this continuous dialysis thing, and that they were going to have to put like 2 like tubes in her. And when she told me that, I just knew, like, I had this feeling that, you know, my mom had always told me that she never wanted to be hooked up to tubes or anything and not be able to live her life like normal. And even though she couldn't live her life like normal because of her condition, and, you know, even though she did have a tube connected to her heart all the time, to like a little pump for her medicine that kept her alive, she didn't want to be like hooked up to like a machine or anything like that. And I just, when she told me that, I was just thinking about, like, if she were to come home and be on something like this and not be able to live her life like normal and go in the backyard with Gigi and go water her plants and things like that, I knew she wouldn't want to live like that. So that was at 11 o'clock at night on Wednesday when she told us that. And, you know, I told her that I loved her and that, you know, I hope that the surgery went well and everything. And that was on Wednesday night. And Thursday morning at 5 in the morning, my mom called us, and she called my dad's phone. And it was so weird because I heard my dad's phone ring and I just answered it. And I don't even know why. I wouldn't have answered my dad's phone, but I did. And she called us and told us that, you know, she felt okay. The surgery was done. She felt like not that great, but she was okay, and that everything went fine. And I was like, okay, you know, I'm glad, you know, just get some rest and, you know, don't think about everything too much and, you know, just get better. And, you know, I said I love you, and um yeah, that was at 5 in the morning. And an hour later, about an hour and a half later, her doctor called us and told us that, you know, her heart stopped and they weren't able to revive her. When I heard that, I just fell to the ground and I just felt like a piece of me died that day. Not only dealing with all this, but trying to get things done during COVID has made everything so much harder. At the time when we're filming this, nothing has happened. We have not had services yet. Nothing. Like, it's just makes everything so much worse. And I just, not that I want to get it over with, but just, I'm like dreading the day that we have the service. And I just, like, it's just taking so long. Everything is taking so long. And I know it's nobody's fault, and you know, there's nothing we can do about it, and I'm just so grateful that we're even able to have a service, because I know so many people during the last couple months have not been able to do that. And you know, I'm just glad that we are able to, but just knowing how long everything is taking, it's just, you know, just so much to deal with. And yeah, that day was just the worst day of my life. It's a day that I knew would come. You know, when your parent is sick, you know it's gonna come, but you just hope it never does. Just, it doesn't feel real, especially because she was at the hospital and we were at home, like just waiting for calls and stuff, and it still feels like that. It still feels like she's gonna come home, and I know she's not. You know, my mom was my entire life. My whole life was based around my mom, and my mom was my best friend. My mom and me did everything together. I've literally never been away from my mom more than 2 days my entire life. Like, the longest I'd ever been away from my mom was when me and Ryan went to Seattle, and that's literally it. Like, and you know, that's also something that's been getting me through it, is just knowing how much time me and my mom spent together. You know, I think back, and even when I was little, like, I did everything with my mom. You know, the only time I wasn't with her was when I was at school. But my mom picked me up every single day. And we would go shopping after school almost every day. And even when my mom was working, I would go to the office with her every day. Like, she would take me to work with her every single day. I don't know how to live without my mom, and I know I have to, but it's just something so hard to realize, because everything that I do reminds me of my mom. I see a commercial, it reminds me of my mom. I see something on TV, I hear a song, I see a color, literally everything reminds me of my mom. But like I said, that's also something that's getting me through it, is just knowing that we did do everything together, and I have so many memories with my mom. And you know, for the first couple years when she was sick, no one was around. I was the only one taking care of her. Until this day, I still was taking care of her. And you know, I made her medicine every single day. My mom had a pump connected to her heart, and I made that medicine by hand, mixed it, it's like a liquid. I mixed it by hand every single day. And now not doing that just feels weird. Like, even shit like that just feels like weird, not doing that anymore. I know when you're with somebody every single day for 25 years, you just don't know like how to function normally anymore. And that's how I feel right now. And you know, I'm doing okay, or at least the best that I can. And I'm so glad to have the support that I need right now. You know, I'm glad my dad is here. I'm so unbelievably grateful that I have Ryan, because I don't know how to be getting through this without Ryan right now. You know, Ryan dropped everything that day and has been with me almost every single day as much as he can. Obviously, he has to go to work, but I'm just so grateful and so lucky to have Ryan right now and to have the most amazing friends who literally dropped everything to be with me and do whatever they can for me. Anthony literally dropped everything and was here for me that morning. And my friend Danielle and Morella also, even though she's in Arizona, she did as much as she could being in Arizona. And I'm just so grateful for them for specifically, but you know, all my other friends too. So many, like, I've just been so overwhelmed with how much support I've had, and if it's not from my friends, it's from you guys as well. I can't even begin to explain how grateful I am for you guys. So many people reached out to me asking what they could do for me, anything, and it just really means so much. Like, you guys don't understand. You know, it was always just me and my mom. So right now I just feel like lost and alone, and like I said, I'm just so grateful for you guys. I can't even begin to explain how thankful I am and grateful, and just thank you from the bottom of my heart for everyone who, you know, reached out, sent me a message, comment, whatever, like even just shared so many personal stories with me to make, like, to help me not feel like I'm alone. And you know, I've just been trying to, you know, do things to get my mind off of it, but again, like, it's just hard because, you know, I don't want to go anywhere because, you know, obviously we're still in a pandemic, and, you know, I've just been trying to just do things to keep me busy as much as possible. You know, I started a new Instagram account just because makeup is the last thing on my mind right now, and, you know, it's just an Instagram solely on, like, my Halloween finds that I have and things like that, and you know, that's been bringing me some kind of like joy. But you know, it's just really hard because, you know, it's hard just dealing with everything, and I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. So it's been almost a month now. I can't even believe it. It literally still feels like everything happened like yesterday. And so grateful for Gigi as well. She is so funny because I don't even think she realizes what's going on. So she's still like her playful self, and you know, she's keeping me happy and kind of my mind off of everything. So yeah, I also wanted to make this video because I do feel like I'm getting to a place where I can film again and, you know, start doing things again. But I really just needed this time, and I know you guys understand. So it was kind of like therapy for me as well. Like I said, I've been trying not to talk too much about it because I do get really sad, and I still obviously am. I feel lost. That's how I feel. I feel lost and sad. But like I said, I do find peace in knowing that my mom doesn't have to suffer or be in pain anymore. And she did suffer for a really long time, and she was such an amazing, just an amazing person who didn't deserve to live the life that she did have to live like that. She deserved to be happy and, you know, not be in pain. My mom was the best mom that anyone could ever ask for, and I'm so grateful that I had literally the best mom anyone could ever ask for. My mom was just this person who made you feel so loved. She truly taught me what it felt like to be unconditionally loved. Everyone loved my mom. Sometimes I even thought my friends, like, were only around because of my mom. My mom treated everyone like her own. And, you know, I'm just really happy that I did have the best mom ever. So yeah, like I said, I do feel like I'm getting to a place where I can start filming and stuff again. Hopefully maybe it'll get my mind off of things, and I know my mom would be yelling at me for not doing things and not doing looks and stuff, because she would always get so excited for me to do Halloween looks and stuff. She would always help me. Even when she was in the hospital, I told her I hadn't really been filming that much, and she was mad. She was like, don't stop filming and stuff because of me. And I know she would want me to keep going and do things, and I'm trying. Another thing too is that I'm just really grateful she got to see me do certain things. And I know that she'd be proud of me, and she'd always tell me how proud she was of me and everything. And I have no regrets when it comes to my mom. I really truly did everything I could to do everything with my mom. And as shitty as this pandemic has been, the only thing that good came out of it was, for the last 6 months, I've spent every moment with my mom. We got closer than ever before, which I didn't think was even possible because we were already attached at the hip. But the last 6 months we did everything together. Obviously, you guys know I wasn't leaving my house or anything. I wasn't seeing anybody, nothing. Like, I literally was not leaving the house. So we spent the last 6 months just watching movies all the time and watching YouTube videos and, you know, just spending so much more time together. And I am glad that we got to do that the last 6 months, and I really do feel so grateful that I got to spend this much time with her. Just trying to tell myself that maybe that was God's plan, was to have me here with her every day and spending every moment with her that I could, and I am grateful. So anyways, like I said earlier, thank you all so much for so much love, support, and just, you know, so many of you have offered to do anything that you could to help, and that really does mean a lot, so thank you. Yeah, I don't really know how to end this video, but I love you guys, and again, thank you for everything. I truly could never say thank you enough for how amazing you guys are. Thank you guys for watching and listening to me and watching me cry. Yeah, I love you guys.